Question that I think is important for the audience to know is, okay, if you have to say the brief in your own words, what is it? If you have to present the brief and present what are your expectations or the kind of things that you expect to receive.
In last year, we're coming from a pure theme, where it was a little bit more related to create a sculpture. It was less orienting to styling. So we wanted to kind of, within the pure, it allows us to kind of, refine some really nice sculptures. But now that we're introducing a new theme, which is this year, the theme is progress, which we see it as is connected with society, is connected with tech trends. It's how does it sort of interact with the climate change, which all of these aspects all together will determine a specific type of mobility. Of course, within progress, we want to create something that is very broad. We want to see innovation, and we want to see them within the evidence of the entries. So of course there will be also how do they connect within the cities, for example? How would they interact with people? How is this creating a mobility system or a vehicle or whatever? I mean, we're not very much asking for do cars in this type of contest. Of course, we love cars, and that's what we do. But I mean, last year showed us that we had such a nice broad within design. So we had cars, we had airships, we had boats, we had fashion, we had drones. So the spread was so wide within the pure topic. So within progress now this year, we think, and it might be a bigger challenge, but I mean, we still think that it's absolutely amazing to go within this topic, because it also aligns within the brand.
So you're not expecting only vehicles?
No, we like last year, we're really aiming to have this very big variety of products. But something that maybe wasn't as strong last year within the first communication, but it will be this year, and we did capture it after the first shortlist stage, is that we're very much focusing on the story. So beyond the visual, we and the jury will basically look into the story, the clever solution. How do we take into the society? How do we absorb some of those problems? And I mean, the design industry is changing so much. It's so many things going around, and one of them, of course, is this technology, and the market is saturated with that. So we would like to understand really how do you influence and how do you kind of absorb all this within the society problems.
I guess the way to approach this is not to pick a product and style it, which I think many designers have this approach, but it's more about understanding the society or elements of the society, elements of our behaviors, researching on that and see how we can create a solution for that, and then design this solution.
Exactly.
So this way you build a story which makes sense, which you can relate to a human, something that improves our society or
the quality of living, yes. And it's basically how do you improve society, I would say.
Okay.
The lifestyle.
One thing that I think is very interesting about this contest is that it's not just we design, we send it to you, and then you pick, and then that's all, and then you give the prize later. It's more like a process. It's almost like a relationship between a design director and the designer. So people send their proposals. Those who are picked start to talk to you and your team, get some feedback, and you go to the next round. incorporating all this feedback so that you can build a better product, and then you do this again for the next round and again for the next round. So
Yeah.
I think for me,
And it's important to be clear that we're not trying to influence their design. We're trying to understand what their vision of that Polestar entry will be. But I mean, of course, for us, it's quite difficult to not be on top of it, because we don't want their product to become our vision. We want their vision to be what they would actually, in the end, visualize.
yeah,
So we just give them kind of, yes,
yeah,
we just give them kind of the best ingredients for them to kind of shine within their designs.
yeah, yeah. It's a bit like brainstorming with them somehow. It's
Exactly, yes. And it's this kind of one-to-one connection with them, which is very much, especially for students, I think it's quite nice to understand how the daily work within a design studio is. I mean, is this kind of one-to-one coaching report between the designer and the manager, and then take it to the next level, which is the design director.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I meant when I said that it's really a relationship between a design director or a team of directors and the designer. In that sense, I think that this contest is very unique. It's very unique, and it's I don't know. I think it brings a lot of value to someone who participates. And there's an interaction with the brand. There's a connection with the brand. There's also a way to build a relationship with you guys. So if you work on this project, you get to the next stage, then you're not anymore like it's not like you send your portfolio and then you never heard of if people have seen your portfolio. In this case, you start building a relationship. It doesn't mean that you will be hired at Polestar or anything, but it means that at least you build a relationship with a strong brand like Polestar, strong designers, and maybe if you're lucky, you end up working with you guys later in the future. I don't know, but it's I don't know. I find it very interesting that there's this relationship approach in the contest, this connection.
I mean, within the process of the contest, we have actually spotted a few potential candidates that could join our team.
Yeah.
And we have a few now that are coming, taking part of this. So it is a really nice way to see who's got that potential for the brand. And especially, you're saying after you then, rather than having an interview, you have these like months of kind of one-to-ones and coaching and see the evolution. It becomes kind of natural that you could see, that person have a potential to join our team.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
I see what you mean, because I think 4 or 5 years ago we organized a sketching competition in London. I don't know if you remember that. It was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even more. And so many designers from London came, many design directors came to see this contest. It was like a live competition. And so the one who won, I think, ended up going to an internship in, I don't know, maybe Layer or something. I don't remember. But I do remember that many of the guys who participated got hired by other people, because there were so many designers around the table that those who were looking for designers were, okay, this guy is good. He has what I'm looking for. Okay, what's his contact? And then they ended up getting a job that they were not coming for in the beginning. So,
and I think connected to what you're saying, I mean, last year we had Balenciaga, who actually got the eye on the contest, and basically they were about to launch their winter collection, and for that they were doing this video game, and they contact one of the entries, one of the designers, and they're like, hey, we would like to. So together with him and myself, we created a package, and because we've been curating through the different stages the models, and we, together with students of the schools in Gothenburg, we team up with students from the modeling team. We actually evolve the 3D models, which make that by the time they ask for these models, we had something. So it was very easy for us to say, hey, we have these 3D models, which you can then implement in your video game, which created us a very
Awesome.
easy process for us to kind of, hey, we're really happy to contribute.
Yeah.
Here are the models. And then for the designer, what a better reward than seeing your design being part of a video game within a Balenciaga brand. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah. The value of participating in a contest like this is not just expecting to win the contest. I think there's a lot of
No,
value
exactly.
that you take along the way. Some are less expected, like what you just said, or like what I said about the sketching workshop that we did in London many years ago.
Exactly.
But also some are just like just the fact that you train is important. I think like just the fact that you have another opportunity to build up your portfolio with this project. You have another
Yeah.
opportunity to sketch, to develop your creative mind. We talked that this contest is also about the research and how you analyze a problem and transfer it into a solution. Then this
Yeah,
also
so the
is
story.
how you build a story. So it's not just about either winning the contest or hoping that you could get a job which is surrounding the contest, but it's also just participating is a way to it's just a way to get better. The more practice you do, the more projects you will have, the better you become, the more projects you can put in your portfolio, and just this I think is very valuable for someone.
Yeah, and I think I would have to say that this is basically the success of the community, that I think by seeing each other's work and be able to create that kind of platform, it sort of enhances each other and stimulate the creativity by using Polestar as the brief to then do these creations.
Exactly. Plus, because I don't know which school you come from or the background that you have, but I see many designers they don't have the chance to come from very strong schools, and in these schools I realize that they don't do a lot of presentations, they don't do a lot of all these things, and this sort of contest helps to give you the opportunity to work on all these things and get better.
Absolutely.
Sorry, fine. And as you say, that
No, go ahead.
having the community to show you where are the standards is helping you to compensate or rebalance what you didn't get from the school, because now you are part of a team of students, let's say, or a team of designers working to the same goal, and then you see everyone's work. So I think that's a very, very interesting point here.
Exactly. I mean, probably each one of the designers who shared their work with the community, they do have their blog, their platform, because they're trying to get the exposure.
Yeah.
But by sort of bringing everyone into that kind of community, they get so much more exposure, which makes their design stand out and sort of be out there a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beauty of it, that we are expanding, we are creating, but we're also recognizing the talents around the world.
The last question, I have a few more questions. One is, I guess you don't really expect any type of deliverables, which means that, or this is the question, do you expect them to send renderings, or do you expect that maybe a quick sketch is good enough if to unlock the next stage, if the idea is very good? So what do you expect, at least in the first stage?
That's a very good question, and I got that question last year quite often. What are you expecting within these 2 pages? So basically, my answer has always been, you have a canvas of 2 pages, and it's a white page. You have the theme, and you probably have a topic or an idea that you have picked. So it's completely up to you to basically use that canvas in the best way to communicate and sell your idea to stick out and become one of those 20 shortlisted that moves into the next level. So, I mean, if it's a doodle, but it communicates it really good, or if it's a sketch or if it's a render, I mean, I probably think that for the first stage, what you need to have is a solid story, and then a sketch or a few sketches that really communicate what you're talking about. I mean, of course, we will evolve it, but I mean, that one I would say, kick-ass image that will really sell your theme, it's very important. So how do you do it? What kind of software do you use? I think it's up to each one of the designers. And I mean, you know which kind of are your best tools to deliver outstanding work. If you need to do a quick model as an underlay that you then sketch on top and then you render it, that's fine. That's the normal design process. That's how we work, you know? So be creative and have fun. That's what I could tell everyone.
Yeah, I think it's also a way of adapting the kind of deliverables that you will give to your idea. So if you have a complex ideas which is more about a lot of details, you may have to go into CAD and renderings because maybe it makes sense to your idea. If your idea is more general, then maybe a sketch is enough to explain this. So I think it's not about investing 3 weeks of work into refining something and make it like so high standards. Of course, if you want it good, but it's more about, yeah, as you say, think about your idea first and communicate it in a way that makes sense.
But I would say, because it's a little bit of a borderline of, we don't want to receive a kind of PowerPoint board where you have tons of inspiration images and it's like, I'm trying to tell you 50 things in 2 pages, you know? So it's about also being smart and condense the information, which shows and delivers the necessary information for us, the judges, to then say, hey, this is a really strong entry.
Yeah.
So I think it's finding the balance of what's the correct content for that board. And I usually say that maybe one board could be the one kick-ass render that sells your idea. And maybe you have a second board, which maybe it's more into the story, the technical, gives a little bit more of that in detail information. So you could split it in maybe 2 worlds.
I see. Yeah, there's a degree of your capacity of summarizing information. It's like when you do your portfolio, you take a project which is maybe 200 pages, transfer that into 5 pages, and now how do you transfer this into 2 pages?
Exactly, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What else we can say? So I will explain this to the audience. So correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that there is this relationship between the candidates and you guys. So there's the first stage in which we send these 2 pages, and then those who pass this step are going to the next step. So they get all the feedback from you guys, and then they have the opportunity to refine some of the design and get to the next stage with an improved concept.
Yep.
And then from that, there's also another round of selection of shortlisting, and then only a few will get to the next stage, and where we will again deliver feedback and then improve again the product. The end result of that, if it's the same as last year, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the final result will be to have your product in CAD, so you guys can create a mock-up, like a proper mock-up at a smaller scale, and that will be the final result. And I guess the winner is based on this outcome. The mock-up, maybe the mock-up, but also the final work and the mock-up that comes with it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's the process will be the same as last year.
Okay.
And I think it's good that you mentioned, because within that different steps, we do those coaching sessions. And like I mentioned before, we also bring the modeling support from the students, which will help you to evolve in your 3D model.
Okay.
They're also students, so they are as keen and interested as anyone who's joining the entry. They're eager to kind of make those models the best they can. So last year we had some really good talents joining in, and we provide you the support.
Okay.
And it's up to everyone to say, hey, I want it or not. So I basically what we did last year is like modeler, designer, or student. You guys can work together and sort of team up different couples.
Awesome.
And the ones who did, I mean, it's like, hey, I would like help with this little detail. It's like, okay, I work on that one. I need help with this, you know? And they actually team up together, and it's like, you guys talk to each other. I'm not in between.
Yeah.
Talk to each other and find the best dialogue to reach out to that.
Meanwhile, you are designing Polestar cars.
Meanwhile, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it's so nice to see that collaboration between two fields. I mean, which is the normal thing that we do within our daily work.
Yeah.
But within this contest platform, it just works so good.
Yeah.
At least from last year. So we hope it will encourage everyone to continue and do the same this year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and plus when you work with when you have other people teaming up with you to do like small parts of the job or maybe bigger parts,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's also you're now part of a team somehow. So your design can also evolve based on their input. So it's not anymore just you trying to push your idea. It's you have people to bring their thoughts and rebound on that. So I guess your products get better and better and better. And I think that we've seen that quite clearly in last year between the early stages, the first sketches that was sent in the 2 pages, and the final
Yeah.
result. It's been like a huge improvement. So yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
absolutely.
Okay. Is there something that you want to add beside saying good luck to everyone? Is there something that you want to say which you think is important for people to know before they participate?
I mean, I would like to say that yes, I mean, within this contest, like we did mention before, we're not forcing anyone to be part of it, and there's been a lot of criticism out there of should I join this or not? Should we get a reward? What's the point of joining a contest? I mean, it's totally up to everyone. We're not forcing everyone, and you're not forced to join a contest. But within this contest, basically, what you do get is a lot of exposure. So from last year, I mean, all these 40 article publications, different magazines, and together with the fact that once we build the model, you go on tour around the world visiting our Polestar spaces. So now the Polestar brand being so strong and having these like 40 plus Polestar spaces which are located within the cities, which they don't look like a car dealer, they look more like galleries.
Okay.
Where their work actually takes part. It's a really great exposure for a designer to just, you know, you're traveling around the world and suddenly you're in California and then someone sees your work and in the next months you're in China and, you know, so it's a really good recognition for everyone. So I would encourage students, designers to join our contest.
For me, the only thing I would add is that it's some people in the audience are already very good. Some are less, and I think that those who are less good or still have like things that they need to improve in order to get like good jobs, like working with you guys or working in big studios. These guys they need training, and I think these are opportunities to train. It's not every day that you have an interesting brief to work on, and that you are able to compare your work with all the others to set up your standard.
The standard.
And I think that
That's really true.
yeah, and I think that anyone who watch this video or follow all the stuff on Instagram or on Le Manouche should understand that it's not just participating to win, it's also participating for you to get better. And I think that this should be the core motivation. I think that you win things when you're motivated to just by doing the stuff, not just the motivation of what will be the final result.
Yeah,
So in
absolutely.
that sense, yeah. So in that sense, yeah. Okay.
Maybe I could just mention one thing that it's quite nice and it gave quite a good credibility last year. I mean, we had boats, we had drones, airships, and the winners were a boat and an airship. And they had beautiful sculptures, great ideas, awesome story, and they were answered to the brief of purity. But then that was not their profession. They were not boat designers, or they were not within the airship field. So their knowledge maybe was not focused into that.
Okay.
So for us to make those projects or those entries into a more professional level, we got support from some experts. So for the boat, we actually got a boat designer and naval architect, which helped to then curate the boat.
Awesome.
Because he had like really cool areas, but then he had zero knowledge within the boat. So we recreated, for example, the hull, the shape of the boat, and to make it the water line, where does it need it to be.
Wow.
So
Okay.
some of the basics, we tuned that to actually make the projects feasible. And then, for example, within the airship, we had this designer who's doing eVTOLs for vertical takeoff and landing, which he also provided us some feedback to make the project better. So that was actually something that, because we were not the experts and they were not the experts, we brought external experts to really make those projects more feasible and better.
Yeah, so it's really not a standard contest. It's really a contest in which there's a chance to create something that where we really push to create something nice.
Yeah, and this is purely because we love design, and this is the inspiration, and this is how we work, right? We want to make things better, we want to make them the best, and as a Polestar, as the brand, everything needs a reason for it to be. So therefore, we need to kind of keep on the standards with the brand. And I think it's good to mention that the contest is not a marketing contest. It's not that marketing came to us and say, hey, maybe we can throw out a contest. No, this is actually a contest that comes from design for designers. And that's why the community and therefore the whole engagement to it.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all we can say.
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And then let's see how many entries we get this year.
Yeah. Okay, so I wish all the luck to everyone who participates. And we, on our side, we'll also publish all the winners and all the stages. So I think we also want to keep everybody informed of how this contest is progressing. And we see the result at the end. So I think we are entering an interesting journey in the next few weeks and months.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much, and good luck with your delivery.
Yeah. Thank you, Juan.
All right, have a nice day, evening, or whatever is there.
It's the day that looks like night because there's a typhoon coming, so it's like dark outside.
Okay. All right.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.